Hello.
Hey.
Thank
I
you
was
for
gonna say
tuning
good
in.
morning, but it's not morning where you are. So I'm out
No,
in
it's
Colorado now.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Visiting your parents, right?
Yeah. So my whole family, like no one lives in Colorado anymore.
Oh.
But everyone came here to have like a family vacation. So it's really nice.
Oh, no, they live in Arizona. Oh my God. I just got
Yeah.
my cables crossed. Yeah.
That's okay. It's all the United States. Out west somewhere.
Okay, and well, you're traveling, so that's interesting because you're also working a bit, and I appreciate that you can connect. And this is quite a perk that we have, right? To work in this manner, to be a part of this industry, and today I wanted to spotlight how we overcame our prejudices when wanting to learn about the industry and belonging to ASEA, because I believe for me, and I believe for you as well, their ethos was what drew us in and wanting to pivot from being scientists to being network marketers. And well, this is what I wanted to spotlight a bit to for people to hear from both of us, how this company's ethos brought us in, like drew us in, so to speak.
Yeah,
How was it for
absolutely.
you?
We talked a little bit last week about how like it was a conference that was dedicated to the ethos of ASEA. It's called their Envision conference that I went to, and I
Okay.
sat through their Ethos Academy, and it was 8 hours of Tyler, the founder, speaking, 1 hour in each piece of their ethos. And it was like the most amazing thing to think, like the inception with which something starts, I think is huge because that it carries a vibration, right? And that will attract certain people in. And what I was hearing him say was just like, the power of being present, serving the people in front of you, having gratitude, keeping yourself principle driven, purpose driven, not so concerned about your own ego and the economics of a situation. This principle, I just thought, wow, this is the way that we should all be taught how to just live life. Like it was speaking to that thing within us that I don't know, is a bit higher, like above our own like animal instincts and like our ego
Yeah,
mind that's in there that can limit us and like be fear-based. And he was
yeah,
speaking to something that was really our hearts. And that's like what opened me up. Like now looking back, I can see what was going on. And talking to all the other people in the room and seeing that like, wow, they've like bought into this, so to speak. Like, I don't know another way to put it other than to say like actually chose to open their hearts, right? They chose to actually do what he was suggesting to do, to serve the people
yeah,
in front of you, to be present, to express gratitude. And it's like, that's the type of world we should live in. It's like I think about like the Christmas spirit, right? It's like whether are or not, but it's like we all know that spirit that comes around in December where all of a sudden
yeah,
people are just happy and they're giving and they're supporting their neighbors and they're smiling. It's like that's what can be year round. And that was what I felt. They were sort of like sharing, and that everyone in that room was just like they said yes to that. And it's like you can choose to step into that energy, choose to step into that vibration, and that was what drew me in. I mean that was amazing. But the industry of network marketing, I don't know. I think there can be a lot of hype. I think a lot of people like have been promised a lot and it hasn't
yeah,
panned out for them, like this dream of, oh, well, you can make a ton of money and you can just in 3 years, you can live the life that you want to live and whatever. And I'm just gonna be very realistic. I would tell you that in 10 years, you could have a lifestyle that you just like where your annual income can become your monthly income. Like, depending on what you're coming to the table with, it could be 5
yeah,
years, it could be 3. But if you're brand new and you're needing to learn how to run a business, how to run yourself, right? How to do these things, it's going to take some time to create residual, right? You can make that kind of
yes,
income quickly. Like I've made it within 5 years, 6 years, but like the income I was looking for, I should say. But to make that like a residual thing where you can step away and the thing will just make that sort of money without you, that's going to take a little bit longer, right? But
Of
it's
course.
possible. And like, I don't
Yeah.
understand any other model that creates that possibility without having to have some sort of like upfront, like massive investment that you make to buy a franchise
Mhm.
or something like that. This is like, there's no investment needed. It's just, you got to show up. You got to be willing to put in the work to make yourself a better person, right? It's like, well, it's kind of what we're here to do.
Yeah. Well, you said it quite well, because it's the work on yourself. It was my journey. You've seen it, and it's quite amazing how it all falls together and it all falls apart at the same time. It falls apart, everything that was keeping me, stuck, to pursue this and take it quite seriously and see it at face value, as you just said. And the seeds of wanting, because it's been 4 years, and I haven't stepped out of it. I just went in the shadows to work on myself and tell myself, well, I really want this to work, because of the product, of course, but also the way you train me, the way you train us to see Ethos, to watch the Genesis movie, that's like making a mindset to understand that people we are ambassadors for, they're titans, and they're lovable titans, so to speak. And what they share, when I was learning about the ethos, I was you mentioned this as well, the soul of the company, and I was thinking, what, where does that fit in? Like, isn't this just about making money, making profits, rolling the money? That was all that I was accustomed to, because in my own family, my own father is a businessman, and there's only shouting and excels and calculus and mathematics and strategy and statistics. And there comes Tyler Norton and says, well, ethos and values and serving. And they're a big, huge company. And I was saying, okay, so I can get behind this. And it was a seed that at the moment I wasn't aware of it. Like, for at that moment, for me, it was, well, they're genuine. The product that they have, it's for real and stuff like that. It wasn't sinking in as much as it was doing it over the years. And now
Yeah.
I can realize it, that wanting to be a part not only of our team, but also of the big ASEA family. It was very important, that step, to integrate the values and the ethos that they share with us. And I'm really grateful that I listened to you and did all that, even though I wasn't aware, like, how is this? Because I was on the animal instinct, level,
Yeah.
needing to make the income and all of that. And I was thinking, oh, how will this help me? Like, where will the money come from? And it does make
Mhm.
sense, because it comes from actually us, is the energy that we put out there, and it comes back to us reflected in, the physicality of money. So it's really nice to be able to intertwine concepts like this when you talk about business, or when you talk about money, when you talk about your income. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. I think, you know, it's interesting because the business world, you can very easily get pulled out. And I have on my own journey. And I think life pulls us where it's like you, you have to figure out what you're made of, right? Because in the moments when no one's looking and, oh, well, what decision could I make? And should I make one that's around myself and what's best for me, or what's best for
Yeah.
the collective and what's best for everyone? And I think just in general, society has sort of moved to a very individualistic, like people, it's very ego centered. It's very, well, get, at least in the United States, right? We're like rewarded for being these strong individuals that can like make things happen in the world and, create all this stuff. And I think the reality is there's an emptiness there where it's like, okay, so I have all this money and I've done all these things and I've made this big business, but like something's still missing. And I've talked to
Yeah,
enough entrepreneurs, people that have made millions, and something is still, they're like still after something. And when I heard Tyler speaking, I went, this is it. This is business, but with the thing that everyone else is seeking, which is the connection, the support, the helping another human, right, on their path, whatever that looks like, right? It might be with their physical health, it might be through finding their true passion and purpose, like with you, like just watching someone come into their own, find their voice. Like, so we're creating this environment where people are able to fail and they're not going to be judged. They're going to be picked up. They're going to be supported. They're going to feel connection, community. I think, we miss that. Like social media, I think, I mean, it's wonderful because it connects us with so much, but it also can be very like isolating. Like just interacting with people is just not the same online versus, in and creating communities. It's just a little bit different. So I think there's something special here. So people that are looking also to figure out like, well, how could I make a side income, or how could I expand beyond what I've been taught or what society has taught me to do with going and getting a job, or, just climbing the corporate ladder. Or if you're like, well, I'd like to do a business, but like, I don't have the money and like, no bank is going to give me a loan to start it. Like I have no equity in my house, so I can't. Like this is an option. It's a route that just makes sense because you're going to be surrounded by people that want to see you win. And I will say that Asea is unique in the network marketing space. I work with one of the top trainer in the space, and he always says that there's something different about like Asea, just the energy with which you guys do things. It's not the energy with which most network marketing companies do things. And some people might be offended by that, but I appreciate it because I'm like, yeah, we do. It was sold. Like this company could have moved much faster, been much bigger than it is right now, but like those levers would have been levers that they pulled that were around their own bottom line, that were best for them, maybe not best for the people as a whole. And so they've made the decision time and time again, no, we're going to support our people. And if this means we move slower, but we have the longevity, great. Like I've watched in my career so far, 10 years I've known about Asea. I have watched other companies come in like a flash and they're gone. Like, and they make all this money and there's all this hype around it. And then poof, they just disappear. And sometimes I've been like, why isn't Asea doing this? Like, why aren't we better now? Why isn't this larger? I'm like, why isn't it going faster? Right? Like that part of me exists, obviously, in any business. You're like, I want to make things happen. But then I always come back to, and that's why I think the brilliance in the ethos is like, you come back to, wait, center yourself here. Everything will follow in divine timing. Like it's going to all happen exactly when it's meant to, with who it's meant to. And like, we need to just stay principle based and know that will follow. And so Asea is like this steady company. And it's like, the tortoise and the hare, right? Like, it's like, that's what's going to win the longevity race, is someone that is able to handle growth and handle things systematically, intentionally, conservatively sometimes. And I think for myself, right, in my 30s, I'm like, yeah, like this is something I want to be able to bring income in my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Like I want to be able to will it to whomever I want, like create legacy. Like I need a company that's not going to be a flash in the pan. Like I need a company that sees 100 years, and that's, I think, what we have here. And it's very, very different because there's a lot of hype in this industry. And I think, we don't have that, which is a little different. But for me,
and it's quite, I believe, I think I was talking with Natalia that, and she said a phrase that time and time again, they always chose light. You said people, but she said like they always chose the light, the path to remain in the light, to serve, to support. And the bottom line, well, it doesn't matter because, as you said, the technology is amazing. It will endure forever. I believe for as long as there will be humans on planet. And well, what's the rush? And I'm still amazed that big time corporate persons, professionals, they choose this over and over again. Is I believe is because of the tone that was set of Tyler, of Verdis as well, or you have
Yeah.
more connection with them.
Yeah.
How do
Well, I've
they?
gotten to know, I mean, I've gotten to know the Norton family. Like Vertus Norton, was the one that he saw the potential of the technology. He actually sought out a pharmaceutical company to sell this to. Like he was looking like business play. I mean, he was totally in like business mind. He came from corporate America. Um, and he something switched within him when he saw that the pharmaceutical company wanted what he had, but wasn't going to bring it to market right out there in the ways that he felt it should be. I mean, they were telling him, hey, you've got to stop your beta test group, you got to get these people off of it that you have on it. And he was like literally, there's 6 people. He said, it's too harsh, like I can't look them in the eyes and tell them they can't have it anymore. And something switched, and he just said no to the money. And he said, this is going to be my legacy. He came out of retirement and he said, I'll figure out a way to get this to humanity. My mission is to get redox globally. And that was the inception that this started with. And, he brought on Tyler, and Tyler said, the only way I'm getting involved with the network marketing industry is if we bring ethos, if we bring the light. As Natalia so beautifully said, I got chills head to toe when she said that, because it's the truth. And I've watched it, and I've seen the moments where it's feeling like, oh, the easier route would be to just forget your integrity for a minute and do this option, right? And just go, ooh, like, well, that's going to make the money. We're going to need it. Like, we went through a pandemic, which was like crazy with shipping and all this stuff, like globally, like there was a lot of stress and pressure. And I watched the navigation of that, where constantly Tyler brought everybody back into the light. He went, no, this is the vision. This is why we're here. Stop freaking out. Remember this. And this is going to pass, and we're going to navigate it because we're going to do it together. And he's always said, like, we at the home office, are like the heart of this business. If we go down, you go down. But he said, you guys are the lungs, and we need breath. We need life. And if you're not breathing, we all go down.
Yeah.
So the heart and the lungs have to work together. Like, we have to figure this all out. And it's just this beautiful space where you're being pushed to your highest potential. And I love like the Pygmalion effect, which is this concept that, like, I used to be a teacher, 6th grade, and this was done was a study done in schools, that basically they told like this one teacher that there were kids in the class that were spurters, that like weren't high performing, but like should be, like they were actually really, really incredible. And so the teacher, unknowingly, unconsciously, the whole year was sort of like encouraging these kids, right? And so by the end of the school year, those kids had spurted. They were way better than their peers. And the researchers came back and said there was nothing about them. Like, we did no tests. We totally lied. We pulled the names at random. And it's like that became known as the Pygmalion effect, which is like when you hold people to a higher standard, they will seek to reach that. And I think that's what is being done here at this company. And what I have, tried to do in my own team and with everyone that I come into contact with is like, no, I see this version of you, and I'm going to speak to that, and I'm going to raise you to that, and I'm going to keep that level of integrity and that level of principle and purpose. And, I'm not going to dip down, and I'm not going to do, oh, well, that's just what's better for me and whatever. And sure, along the way, I've had to learn. I'm not perfect by any means, and I would never say it was. But I always try to come back to that, right, and like take ownership when I screw up or make a decision that's off, or somehow hurt somebody or didn't think about something. But it's it's like it's the core way of being that then floods into like your relationships and how you meet people and how you interact in the world. It's like, I don't know, I want a bunch of bright lights to be around. Like, that's what I want. And I think being part of Asea's community, like, just brings out the best in somebody. And then couple that with like, well, we're also changing people's lives with this technology, like literally answering prayer. And we are also just helping people to earn income and like create options for their families, which is like inserting a little bit more income into their lives. And some people, crazy income. I've helped people make more money than I've made, more money than I could ever dream of making in a year. It's like, I mean, crazy, high, 6-figure, like multi 6-figure. And I'm just like, wow, and they're like, Danielle, thank you. Like, you are the reason that happened. And it's just like, holy cow, like there's just the potential, and everybody wants something different. So it's just like the potential's sitting here, you just have to step into it. and decide you want to align with that, and yeah, get the best out of you. It's like any coach or mentor should always be pulling the best out of you. And then when you've got other people and like a whole team that's like also trying to pull the best out of you, it's incredible. I've had to lean on that. I've leaned on the people that have walked the path before me, because like there are moments that I break down and I'm like, what is the purpose of all of this? And does this really work? And why is it going faster? Or something like, any of the million things my brain would say. And they always just bring me back, right? They bring me back into the light. They bring me back to the, hey, bigger picture. Hey, remember what we're doing,
Yeah.
and it's been like life-changing for me.
Well, it's amazing because you particularly, you hold the space so beautiful for us. And as they say, I'm not even your direct downline or anything like that, and it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter
Yeah.
for either of us or either of the leaders. When there is someone that wants to go faster, and well, that's made happen, within our team and all of that. And I truly am grateful because I could I I could have stepped back into this and to find a new way to start sharing with it after I was I was burning all my bridges with the friends and family and all of that. And now I can serve and be in front of many more people than what I thought I could have been. And that's because of the space that you created for us and all the trainings that you've done. And I'm truly grateful
Mhm.
to to be able to step into this and to bring this information to people around us. And I'd like to wrap this up a bit with the believe, belong, become, because I know that it's part of the ethos, and as Tyler puts it, is very nice. And I'd like to hear your version of of how
Of
he,
that. Yeah.
yeah, how he sends it to us, and how you see it integrate, in
Yeah.
ourselves.
Well, it's phased, right? So one of the biggest things that is always said is, hey, believe, belong, become. And this concept of belief is really where it all starts. Like, you've got to obviously believe in the products that we represent, right? You have
Yeah.
to believe in the company, which will come in time. You have to believe in the industry of network marketing, which is a big woo for some people. Um, you have to believe in your support structures, right? And you've said so beautifully, like, I've got training systems in place. We've got the road is paved. Like, I was
Yeah.
whacking through ahead. Like, I didn't know, like, nothing was paved when I started. Now it's like there is infrastructure. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, anyone can just step in and go. But the last piece, Lavinia, and this is everything, and this is where I see most people fall down, and it has broken my heart, because I come to this so like with such an open heart, and I just want the best for everyone, is belief in yourself. And this is where I have watched time and time and time again people that have nothing but potential. Like, all I see is their potential, but there is a limitation between their ears. And when that belief is not there, you can't step forward. People have fears. They have, they don't think they're worthy of it. They have issues around money, around, all of these things. And it comes to a head in a business like this because you're being pushed, right? To bring out your best. So anything that's not at that high vibration is going to show its head. And I tell people it's going to come out so that it can leave, so that you can say, hey, no more. I'm shedding that
Yeah.
skin. Right? I'm going to be the best version of me. But it's intense when it comes out, and because it feels so real. But it's an illusion in your mind. It's just bad programming from your past. And so, that belief in you is everything. And I think it ties sort of into the next piece, which is belong. Like, once you start to have those beliefs, well, maybe I can for a moment believe in this technology, and maybe what they're saying is true about this community of people and this business opportunity. And maybe I believe in myself enough. All of a sudden you find yourself belonging to a community of people that, again, see the best in you, that are wanting to help you see bigger, because so many of us, we're like in our own routines with our, friends, our family, like all these patterns that we get into and we don't even realize we're in. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a room with people that are like, like traveling around the world, doing certain things, living their life in certain ways, like just doing stuff. You're like, I never even would have comprehended that. Like, I've got friends that, they had the audacity, right, to start a relationship. One lived in Australia, one lived in the United States, and they were just like, well, we just know this is meant to be, and we're going to make it work. And you're like, what? You know, and they're had kids and they're like, we're not leaving our separate locations. We're going to make it work. And it's just like, well, you start to see people that just that go, you know, anything's possible. If I believe I can do it, I'll achieve it. And then you watch them achieve it and you're like, wow, so you're belonging to this community. And that's this concept of belong. And then you become. Okay, so once you're around that environment, you can't help, Pygmalion effect, right? You can't help but also get this better part of you drawn out, this full potential to kind of step forward for you to go, well, what if they can do it? I can do it, right? What's special about Danielle? What's just special about Lavinia? Like, we just said yes, you know, and they're not afraid to fall down, and like they're getting picked up by all these people. Like, I have people that tell me all the time, Danielle, I will be your campfire. Like when you are down and out and you're tired and you're exhausted and like the elements of the world have just like wiped you out, call me because I will be your campfire. I will warm you back up again. And so those people have helped me to become the best version of me because they've spoken it into me. I didn't believe it, not at all. Yeah. But I had people say to me, you've got what it takes. I see it in you. Like someone said to me, you're baby dragon, Danielle. And one day, that dragon is going to breathe a lot of fire. And it's like, you know, that stuck with me of like, oh, they see something in me, right? But it was like a baby dragon where I was like, well, I have power. What? You know, like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's like, I feel, you know, more and more like, wow, I can roar, if you will, right? That can come out. And it's that becoming process. And the best part of becoming, you know, is then the income follows. And this is what I love. What, you know, and Tyler has said this again and again and again and again, and it has been drilled into me and I've seen it myself and in others. When you become the best version of you, you will become the person that attracts in the business, that attracts in leaders, that just becomes magnetic, where like it becomes effortless. Whereas before you were having to go out and like find people, all of a sudden people are coming to you. What is it that you have? I'm interested. What are you doing? Like something's just shiny about you. You're happy. Why are you happy? Like, what choices are you making that I'm not making? You know, like, tell me about this. Is it possible for me too? And that is what then allows in this business model in network marketing for the income to just start to flow. And, you know, that again, that's not what it's about. It was about you becoming the best version of you. And then everything just takes care of itself behind that. Yeah. So the concept of believe, belong, become, it's everything. And the becoming process is constant. Every level, there's a new devil. You know what I mean? Like first you got to lead yourself. Then you got to learn how to lead a bunch of other people that are a mess in their own minds, right? Like I had to learn, how do I lead? You know, where like, I can see her potential, but she can't see it yet. Okay. Like, what do I do? How do I help her? You know? And then you lead leaders. You lead people that are like, they're their own chief, you know? And you're like, whoa, okay. Like, you know what you want, but I got to guide you down this path too. How are we going to like respect each other mutually and like make this happen? It's just so fun, you know? It's so fun. And it's just this total becoming process that, I don't know, I'm in love with. I think personal development, like so many people, like if you love personal development, you should be in network marketing. Like it will create an environment for it all. And the other thing I'll say, you're working spiritually, like you're wanting to free yourself. This has been my spiritual playground. I mean, this has been really where I've been able to put to the test, you know, myself, to just drop away my preferences, my judgment, the way I think things should be, trusting, you know, that there is a higher power taking care of things and trusting that flow. I mean, that's everything. And you'll get faced with it again and again, day in and day out, and it just blows the whole thing open.
Well, that's so beautiful. I'm glad we have this and it will stay up forever. So thank you for joining me today and bringing helping me bring the ethos of Asea and explain a bit the energy of the work that we do. And we will be on next week as well with another theme. Yeah. And I invite you to, I don't know, ask questions, ask us anything, me or Danielle. If you want to get in touch with her, well, just let me know. And
one thing
await you.
I want to just say one thing. Well, first of all, hey, John, he just said that he jumped on. It's good to see you. And like you said at the beginning, you know, you're on vacation, but you're doing this. like life just starts to interweave. Like to me, this isn't work. Like if you can probably tell, like it's just it's something that I absolutely love and want to share wherever I go, wherever I am. But years ago, I said, I want to do something so that I can create flexibility in my life, so that I can be where I want to be when I want to be there. And this year has been an interesting one. You know, I've gotten to travel to Australia for a couple of weeks, but I also, like, my parents needed me for certain things, and I had to be out there for many weeks. And if I had had a traditional job, I wouldn't have had the vacation days. I wouldn't have been able to do it. But because of this, I've been able to not skip a beat, be able to be where I needed to be, do what I needed to do, like fit some, work things in around it. But it's like, it's such a, like it, it fills me. So it's like, I'm happy to do it because it makes my day even better to talk about these things. But like, I just want to tell everybody, like, time's passing for all of us.
Yeah.
It's going to pass anyway. So why not make a choice? Like, you're not going to have the lifestyle that I've been able to create tomorrow. No, I'm not telling you that, but I'm telling you that, like, you can start and start to make certain choices 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now. Like, life can look really different for you, and you can have the flexibility, that I've created. Like, I had someone say to me, "You're so lucky, Danielle." And I literally laughed at it. And I said, luck has nothing to do with it.
But saying yes to this, maybe that's the luck, and only that.
Exactly. Like, I luckily said yes. I luckily saw it. I luckily got goosebumps, whatever it might be. But you got to decide, and get around the right people, get around Lavinia, get around, John Stringer, who's on here, is coming. He says, still love my Asea, taking it every day. Like, John's been incredible. He's a singer. He's amazing. Like, my world has been, like, just enriched because of the people that I've met, whether they do more with the business of Asea or not. Like, that relationship will never go anywhere, and like, it's just, your network will expand. And it's phenomenal. So we can talk about that more later. Anyway, we'll wrap up now. I know, but I just wanted to share that. Like, an avenue for everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John, for joining us. I hope the next time you can actually join us on screen, but maybe we'll see about that. What you did and what you need to do to join on screen. Well, thank you. See you next week. Thank you again, Danielle. And well, ask us. Make better questions. We're here to help. Bye.
Beautiful. Thanks, Ian. Bye, everyone.